Hello, today we will recap a horror mystery movie titled Even Lambs Have Teeth. Before we start, please subscribe to our channel for free because we'll upload new videos regularly. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and enjoy. The upcoming summer break brings excitement to Katie and her best friend Brittany. Eager to make the most of their vacation, they plan a shopping spree in New York. To fund their adventure, they decide to take on temporary jobs with full support from Katie's mother. She helps them secure positions at an eco-farm through a connection with a friend. The following day, Katie's uncle David, who happens to be an FBI agent, takes the girls to the station. Emphasizing the importance of safety, he provides specific instructions. Once they reach the farm, he advises them to use a prearranged code to let their family know they are safe. While waiting for the bus, the girls decide to use the restroom at the supermarket. Unfortunately, they are told that the store doesn't offer restroom facilities for customers. Apologizing, they get ready to leave. The store clerk kindly says goodbye and warns them about the neighborhood's safety, emphasizing not to accept drinks from strangers. Katie appreciates the advice but doesn't take it too seriously. With plenty of time on their hands, they decide to spend it at a nearby cafe. When the girls ask about restroom facilities, the bearded cafe owner, with a creepy grin, seems overly interested in their beauty, making Brittany uncomfortable. Two brothers join the scene, and Katie, charmed by their looks, casually shares details about their upcoming plans. The brothers, upon hearing about the girls' destination, offer a ride, insisting it's on their way. Charmed by their friendliness, the girls, without hesitation, accept the offer and hop into the pickup truck headed for the mountains. Initially filled with laughter and conversation, the atmosphere takes a turn as the girls realize the truck has missed the farm's turnoff. Brittany, growing nervous, holds on to Katie's hand and questions the older brother about their destination. Instead of a clear answer, he responds with a mysterious smile, leaving the girls uneasy about what lies ahead. Soon, the truck comes to a stop in front of a rural farmhouse, and Katie and Brittany cautiously get off. The brothers confess their true intentions, admitting that they wanted to invite the girls to their home but were afraid of rejection. They promise a short break before continuing the journey to the farm. During this moment, the brothers' mother comes out of the house, a kind and elderly woman. She warmly invites the girls inside for some rest, and despite their hesitation, Katie and Brittany follow her. The interior of the house is modestly decorated with a rustic charm, creating a comfortable atmosphere. Katie seizes the opportunity to discreetly send a coded message to her uncle, assuring him of their safety. In her perception, there's no apparent danger in this welcoming environment. The old lady proves to be friendly and accommodating, treating them to homemade delicacies. Hungry from their journey, the girls eagerly start eating without waiting for a formal invitation. However, Brittany soon experiences a strange blur in her vision. Alarmed, she grabs Katie and attempts to flee, but their escape is short-lived as they collapse. The brothers quickly carry them back inside. Upon waking up, they discover they are trapped inside a container in the heart of the forest. Terrified, they scream for help, praying that someone will hear them. The younger brother, casually approaching with a long gun in hand, dismisses their pleas, claiming that their cries won't reach anyone in this remote wilderness. The brothers reveal their sinister motive of kidnapping attractive girls for their profit. A bearded man, presumably the leader of their criminal enterprise, arrives to inspect the situation. He scolds the younger brother for his recklessness. Unaware of the predetermined sequence, he takes Katie's phone and sends a message home, falsely assuring their safety. The bearded man's mistake in the code exposes their true situation. Unfortunately, Officer David doesn't have his phone to notice the error right away. Katie and Brittany endure humiliation and torment in the forest, forced into public bathing by their captors. In their desperate state, an elderly police officer with a gun appears from the woods. The girls quickly seek refuge behind him, hoping for a way out. Katie believes her uncle saw the coded message and sent assistance, but the officer is actually working with the three human traffickers. He has come to debauchery and to satisfy his base desires, not to uphold justice. After a brief conversation with the brothers, old Officer Ethan swallows a blue pill and enters the container containing Katie. Soon after, he emerges, satisfied, pulling up his trousers, leaving Katie crying silently. Their depressing existence continues. Soon after, new customers arrive at the container, this time a curly-haired man who has chosen Brittany. The man with violent tendencies not only violates Brittany, but also burns her abdomen with cigarettes. Screams erupt from the container, and Katie stands outside, unable to bear it and covering her ears. In the meantime, David becomes aware of an irregularity in Katie's message. Concerned for his niece's safety, he reaches out to the farm owner, discovering that Katie and Brittany never reached their destination or established contact. With their phones consistently unreachable, David, who initially had vacation plans with his girlfriend, now has to set aside those plans to investigate Katie's whereabouts. At the same time, the container welcomes the day's third visitor, who wears a sinister mask and makes strange noises. Both girls are terrified because they are unaware of his true identity. Brittany is ultimately chosen by the masked man. Following the humiliation, he places the mask on Brittany's head and walks away with an air of arrogance. Brittany can't see his face, but the crucifix tattoo on his arm is burned into her mind. Meanwhile, David goes to the local police station seeking information and coincidentally encounters Officer Ethan, who had been involved in assaulting Katie. Unaware that Ethan is working as an informant for the trafficker brothers, David engages in what he believes is cooperative conversation, learning more about the girl's disappearance. As the trafficker brothers become aware of David's presence at the police station, they decide to take drastic measures, killing the girls and eliminating any evidence. Katie overhears their conversation. She quietly informs Brittany of the news after the villains have left. Their only chance of survival now is to fight back. Just as they strategize, the man who had harmed Brittany returns, tasked with keeping an eye on the girls while the other criminals search for new victims in the town. Seeing a chance, Katie pretends to be nice to the curly-haired man. She surprises him by biting his neck, and he dies. They use the keys they find on him to unlock their handcuffs and get free. Soon, Officer Ethan comes to the woods and sees the dead man. He gets ready to chase them in his car, but the girls have already taken it and driven away to freedom. On their way back, Katie sees a girl by the road who needs a ride. Without hesitation, she drives straight toward the town. Brittany looks at the girl, feeling a mix of emotions. Not long ago, they were carefree, getting into a stranger's pickup truck, which led to their most tragic experience. Determined to prevent anything like this from happening again, they decide to seek revenge. First, the girls go to a hardware store for supplies: hatchets, ball-peen hammers, nails, baseball bats, and almost every imaginable weapon. They ask the store owner for the bearded leader's address. When he returns home, Katie and Brittany ambush the bearded man. He is struck repeatedly, and the nails distort his features. Then, tied to a table by the girls, he is brutally tortured, forced to reveal his accomplice's whereabouts. He pleads for mercy, hoping the girls would show compassion and spare him. Yet, he forgets that not long ago, the girls begged him for the same thing, only to be met with humiliation and violence. Seeing that his pleas are futile, the bearded man divulges the location of his accomplices and the location of his money, hoping that the girls will spare him. They discover a metal box in the corner of the room that contains not only bundles of cash but also a handgun. Although the bearded man believes he has escaped death, the girls continue to turn their weapons on him. They strike a fatal blow with the nail-studded bat as a team. After murdering the man, Katie and Brittany flee in his car, narrowly missing Uncle David. The vengeful pair then arrives at the church. The priest, it turns out, is the man who tormented Brittany in an animal mask. The priest is visibly shocked when he sees a blood-stained Brittany standing before him. He tries to call for assistance but is unexpectedly knocked out from behind by Katie. The priest is tied to the back of the car and dragged along. They then ignite petrol to burn him alive as he gasps for air. Meanwhile, David goes to the local police station to inquire about the investigation and uses his cell phone to call his niece. The phone's ringtone emerges from Officer Ethan's pocket. David realizes the truth at once, but it is too late. Ethan then ties him up with the intention of having his way with the newly captured girls before killing him. Katie and Brittany arrive just in time. They not only kill Ethan, but they also save Uncle David and two young girls. Ethan is being interrogated in a chair. He begs the girls for mercy and tries to buy his life with money. Katie and Brittany exchange a friendly smile. They take out a revolver and play Russian roulette with him, allowing the evil old cop to feel the thrill of life and death. He thought the girls would spare him after 5 shots were fired, but he couldn't avoid being shot in the head. Katie entrusts the task of rescuing her uncle to the 2 innocent girls in order to prevent Uncle David from disrupting their revenge plan. She and Brittany rush ahead to the trafficker's hideout. The seemingly kind but malicious old woman is the first to face retaliation. She blacks out after consuming a glass of wine. Unbeknownst to her, Katie had secretly spiked the drink with a sedative. Katie and Brittany imprison her in the basement. When the elderly woman awakens from her unconsciousness, she finds her younger son bound across from her. She begins to beg for mercy, hoping that the girls will spare her family and promising to turn a new leaf, never committing heinous acts again. Katie is skeptical of her lies. She then murders the elderly lady's younger son in front of her. After losing her son, the elderly woman goes insane. She curses and swears to express her rage, but the more hysterical she becomes, the more the girls enjoy their vengeance. The elderly woman is then pushed into another room. Her older son is imprisoned here. He keeps a sense of conscience, constantly repenting for everything he's done and blaming his mother for leading him and his brother astray. Katie hands him a baseball bat and orders him to kill his own mother at gunpoint. However, the elder son is unable to do so. He eventually meets the fate of being shot in the head. The two girls wipe their fingerprints off the gun and place it in the hands of the elder brother, making the entire murder case appear to be a family feud and vendetta. The old woman knows she's doomed, but her strong desire to live drives her to fight one last time. She claims to have a lot of money hidden in her house, all in a biscuit tin, and hopes to use it to buy her life. But the girls don't give her that opportunity. Katie eventually shaves the wicked old woman's entire head off with a lawnmower. At this point, all of the evil people have received their just retribution. Katie and Brittany stayed out of trouble thanks to their uncle's protection. The story comes to an end here.
Three men take advantage of a famous actress's corpse, so she returns to life to take her revenge. Hello and welcome to our movie recap channel. Today I'm going to explain a Spanish horror from a movie called The Corpse of Anna Fritz from 2015. Hope you enjoyed the video, so let's start. The film opens with the corpse of Anna Fritz, a rising Spanish star who was suspiciously found dead at a party. As her corpse is being strolled down to a hospital's mortuary, the news reports are voiced in the background, according to which Anna was doing really well in the film industry before her tragic death. As her fans fail to process her death news, her body is sent to a hospital for an autopsy so that the cause of death can be traced. To avoid chaos and drama from fans, the location of the hospital has been kept hidden from the public in case they crowd the hospital and cause a scene. As the news report ends, Pa, a nerdy autopsy performer, is shown placing Anna's corpse in a hospital's mortuary. Before performing an autopsy on Anna, Pa takes a picture of her star-studded face and sends it to his friends to show off that he's getting to perform an autopsy on a big star. It doesn't take long for Pa's friends, Javi the reluctant and hesitant guy, and Ivan dirtbag with zero morals, to show up at the hospital reception and ask the receptionist to alert Pa of their arrival. Minutes later, Pa shows up in his uniform and greets them. Ivan and Javi remind him of a party they have come to take him to, but Pa refuses to go, saying his shift doesn't end till midnight. Javi and Ivan decide to wait till midnight, which is only an hour away, and take Pa with them to the party. However, Pa doesn't settle on attending the party. Ivan tries to hype up the party for Pa, saying there will be hot girls to bang at the party, but Pa resists. Now, Ivan and Javi insist on having some drugs with them at the hospital since he's not attending the party. Pa takes them outside the trash can area, which Javi doesn't like. But Pa becomes nervous and doesn't want to get fired from his job if he gets caught like that. Hence, he requests them. They hide everything and take their party elsewhere. Ivan changes the subject to Anna Fritz and asks some dirty questions about her corpse from Pa. He begs Pa to send them more pictures of her body since she will be cut open by Pa's hands for her death inspection. When it insists multiple times, Pa shows his true colors and sneaks them into the mortuary to see Anna's corpse in real life rather than in pictures. Following Pa's lead, Javi and Ivan reach outside the mortuary, where Javi expresses his guilt for visiting Anna's corpse. He decides to wait outside, but Ivan drags him inside when Pa opens the door with his keys. Inside, Pa hypes up how beautiful Anna's corpse looks, and that she doesn't even look dead like the other regular corpses. To mess with the friends, he shows them a rotten corpse, saying it's Anna Fritz. Ivan and Javi get disgusted and tell Pa to cover it up. When he finally shows them Anna's corpse, Ivan loses his sanity and becomes horny. He uncovers Anna's chest and fondles her breasts. Contrary to Ivan's disgusting mindset, Javi is tensed and is waiting to leave immediately. Ivan forces him to fondle Anna's breasts, so he fondles them once and backs off right away. Very soon, this escalates to the subject of taking advantage of Anna's corpse. Javi doesn't count himself in, but Pao agrees with Ivan's monstrous idea of taking turns on Anna. As Javi creates panic, Pa takes him into the cleaning room and shuts the door. Javi still cannot process how his friends can do such a thing and assumes they are only trying to mess with him. Much to his disappointment, he watches Ivan climb on top of Anna's corpse when Pa slightly opens the door to peep out. Moments later, Ivan comes inside the cleaning room, complimenting how amazing of an experience Anna's corpse has given him. Javi feels disgusted and tries to awaken Ivan's morals by reminding him he has a sister too, who can die and end up like this. In the meantime, Paul goes out and takes the second turn on Anna. While he's still thrusting, Anna's eyes open up, and she regains consciousness, revealing she came back from the dead. Anna becomes traumatized to wake up from the dead and have a man take advantage of her body. Despite being unable to respond, her tense expressions speak loudly for her. When Paul finds her awake, he screams in horror, making his friends come out of the cleaning room. While Pao and Ivan try to process this, Javi immediately makes Anna drink some tap water and covers her body with a medical gown. He proves his innocence by admitting he's not done anything to her besides covering her up right now. Before the friends can figure out their next step, another night shift worker shows up with another corpse in the mortuary. The boys turn off the lights and hide in the cleaning room. The worker places the corpse among others and leaves, not noticing Anna's alive and struggling to call for help because he has headphones on. Tears roll down Anna's eyes, knowing she's hopeless. Now, the trio gets into a heated argument when Javi stands against Pa and Ivan. While Pa is still traumatized and unable to speak, Ivan decides to strangle her to death since the world has already pronounced her dead. Javi becomes emotional and decides to free Anna, regardless of what will happen to his friends when Anna takes action against them. Soon, the argument turns into a fight, in which Ivan hits Javi to the point where he starts bleeding from the back of his head. Pa tries to unlock the door, only to find it locked from outside by the worker who showed up a few minutes ago. They come up with a plan, according to which Ivan drags Javi to the cleaning room and stuffs Anna's wheeler bed there too. Pao cleans Javi's blood from the floor and alerts security that he's been locked inside the mortuary. 5 minutes later, a security guy unlocks the mortuary and takes Pao out. On his way out, he leaves the door open so that Ivan can take Javi out and seek medical help. Sadly, Javi doesn't survive. Bringing tears to Anna's eyes since he was her last hope, Ivan doesn't admit to reality and keeps trying to wake Javi up and apologize for hitting him. He rages out at Anna when he tries to tell him Javi has died. When Pa returns to see what's taking Ivan and Javi so long, he finds out about Javi's death, which brings yet another trauma to him. He sits beside Ivan and cries as Ivan smokes a joint in a regretful manner. Soon, Pa gets up and decides to leave, but Ivan holds him and tries to convince him to stay, or else things will not be in their favor if they leave. Pa believes he hasn't done anything, but Ivan gaslights him into thinking he was tagged along with Ivan as his accomplice while he beat Javi to death. After manipulating Pa, he decides to go out and arrange a garbage container in which they will dispose of Javi's body. Before that, Ivan goes to check up on Anna, only to find her on the floor and calling someone from Javi's phone. Ivan takes away the phone from her and cusses at her, but Anna swears that she called her father, whom she hasn't told anything about. Pa wants to believe her, but Ivan takes him out, poisons his head, and makes sure he doesn't trust Anna. He decides not to end Anne and take her back upstairs since her father will be coming to take her. Unfortunately, someone calls on Javi's phone once again, which happens to be in Ivan's pocket. When he picks up the phone, Anne starts screaming to alert her father, but Pa covers her face and makes sure she cannot be heard. Very soon, Ivan cuts the call aggressively and reveals to Pao that she was lying about not telling her father about what they did to her while she was dead. Now, Pa also realizes she cannot be trusted and takes her back to the mortuary, where Ivan slaps her and rages out at her for what she's done with the phone call. Pa backs him off and gets him to think of a way to get rid of Javi's body. They end up with a plan, according to which Ivan goes to get the garbage can from the ground floor and leaves Pa to tie Anne up. When alone, Anna tries to influence Pa into letting her go and freeing himself of any charge, but he doesn't listen to her. At one point, she almost convinces him he hasn't done anything wrong, whereas Ivan has taken his friend's life and tries to gain Pa's favor, but Ivan returns, asking for directions. Pa directs him towards the trash cans and gets back to his senses. He loosely restrains Anna with a medicinal cloth and goes back to the cleaning room to clean Javi's blood off the walls. In the meantime, Anna manages to free herself. She uses her body force to push her down the stretcher bed, and she slithers like a snake to make an escape. When Ivan shows up with the trash can, he finds Anna gone. He rages at Pa and runs out of the mortuary to find her. After a long chase, he finds her in the elevator. He drags her from the leg and takes her back to the mortuary, where he forces Pa to take her life. Pa claims that he's innocent and would never take anyone's life, unlike Ivan, which infuriates Ivan. He forces Pa to smother Anna with the bedsheet because he doesn't want 2 murders on his hands. Ivan ends up forcing Pa's hand into smothering Anna with the sheet. The two don't stop until she pees herself and stops breathing. Now, whereas Pa seems to be traumatized by the chain of events, Ivan works more rationally to save himself. He goes to the cleaning room to take care of Javi's body. He gets Pa's help in sliding Javi's body onto the same sheet they used to smother Anne and lift the sheet up. Subsequently, they take Javi's body on a sheet and toss him in the bin. Ivan decides to sneak the garbage can out of the hospital and leaves Pa behind to clean Anne's urine from the floor and her body. Left behind, Pa takes off Anne's hospital gown that Javi had put on her and cleans her body with a sponge. Moments later, when he's about to leave, he hears Anne coughing, revealing she was only pretending to die. Despite knowing this, Pa doesn't have the energy left to deal with Anne, so he tells her to keep pretending until someone else comes to rescue her. At the same time, Ivan shows up and asks Pa why he hasn't left yet. Pa becomes increasingly nervous as he's hiding from Ivan the reality. Ivan takes notice of this but chooses to ignore it. On their way out, Ivan checks his wallet and realizes he has left it back in the mortuary. He walks back to retrieve it, but Pa tries to stop him. Ivan finds it weird and re-enters the mortuary regardless of. There, he finds Anne, who is finally standing tall on her feet. Ivan feels betrayed by Pa and assumes he was plotting against him with Anne in order to avoid charges in jail. He pushes Pa against the wall and chokes him with aggression. Much to his shock, Anne shows up from behind with a pair of scissors, which she jabs straight into Ivan's throat, causing him to die on the spot. Now, covered in Ivan's blood, she coldly looks at Pa while he loudly cries and asks why she did that. Pa believes he's gained Anne's favor and will not be attacked by her, but much to his surprise, she attacks Pa anyway. She stabs Pa's stomach until he bleeds to death. At last, she sits beside Pa's body, covered in Pa and Ivan's blood, and awaits help.
Cheerleaders get kidnapped by an insane man and take advantage of them every night. Chelsea's day takes an unexpected turn when her friend Mia reveals she sent risky pics to Dylan. Chelsea, wary of drama, heads downstairs to find her mom immersed in Halloween decorations and her sister, Christina, engaged in a phone call, seeking a ride to school. Chelsea is met with a firm no and advice to reconcile with Christina. VR Cowboy and Mia have been chatting more than frequently. And at school, VR Cowboy bombards Chelsea with texts, but she brushes them off. Invited to party with Dylan and Seth, Mia then ditches Chelsea for Dylan, leaving her alone with Seth, who makes an unwanted advance. Chelsea navigates the twists of this roller coaster day, determined to leave the drama behind. The following school day, Chelsea spills the beans to Mia about her hasty escape from Seth's advances. To add to the chaos, Dylan pops up and locks lips with Mia, forcing Chelsea to seek solace in responding to VR Cowboy. As it turns out, VR Cowboy is none other than Brad, who dives into some playful flirting. However, the budding connection is abruptly halted by the appearance of the security guard, who snatches away Chelsea's phone. Chelsea faces post-school discipline from her mom, resulting in a month-long phone ban. Determined to combat boredom, Chelsea entertains herself without a device, but Mia provides a spare phone with ulterior motives. To use Chelsea as an alibi for rendezvous with Dylan, this revelation sparks an argument, leading to hurtful accusations and Mia storming off. With little to do, Chelsea chats with Brad about her life's misery, embellishing with fake cheerleading photos from Christina's room. The online interaction progresses to a video call, yet Brad's face remains blurry due to his supposedly broken phone camera. Fast forward 3 weeks, and Chelsea and Brad's connection deepens. Chelsea proposes taking things offline, suggesting they meet in person. Brad agrees, but as they discuss plans, Chelsea overhears a girl on his end, Sadie, his sister. Tensions rise momentarily, but they manage to navigate the situation. Undeterred, Chelsea and Brad settle on a plan to attend a warehouse Halloween party, with Chelsea opting for a zombie cheerleader look and Brad donning the guise of a zombie quarterback. On Halloween night, Chelsea concocts a tale for her mother, claiming she'll stay home, distributing candies to the trick-or-treaters. However, once the coast is clear, she stealthily makes her way to the agreed-upon venue where she's set to meet Brad. To her surprise, Brad is decked out in makeup with a football helmet, covering his face. He thrusts a bottle of alcohol into her hands, insisting they finish it before hitting the road to avoid getting caught, hesitant but under the influence. Chelsea succumbs to peer pressure and gulps down the entire bottle, feeling the effects take hold. In her inebriated state, Chelsea is guided to Brad's car, where he ties her up and ruthlessly destroys her phone before driving off. She wakes up in a chilling basement, bound by chains, as Brad intermittently appears, insisting on calling her Sadie and resorting to violence when corrected. Chelsea finds an unexpected companion in a rat that devours her spilled food. Teased with water by Brad, she eagerly drinks, only for him to drop the sustenance in the dirt when she sarcastically replies as Sadie. Unfazed, Chelsea consumes the contaminated food. And as Brad departs, she spots rat dung and later discovers a trap that captures the creature. In mourning, her connection with the rat symbolizes her dwindling hope. A flicker of light reveals another cheerleader. Megan introduces herself as Sadie, using the alias to conceal her real name. Following Brad's command, Megan frees Chelsea from her chains. Panicking, Chelsea attempts a desperate escape from the basement, only to find herself thwarted by locked doors and windows, trapped in an unfolding nightmare. Caught by Megan, Chelsea is warned against misbehavior and pressed to erase footprints from the carpet meticulously. Observing Brad engrossed in his computer upstairs, Chelsea complies with Megan's insistence on perfection. Led to another room, they encounter Heather, adopting the name Sadie. Inquisitive Heather presses Chelsea for her real name, but she insists on being Sadie, earning their approval. Heather departs to bake a cake for Brad, leaving Megan in charge. Chelsea is ordered to strip and clean. But when she requests privacy, Megan becomes enraged, compelling Chelsea into the tub. Post-cleaning, Megan insists on bleaching Chelsea's hair to match Brad's preferences. During this, Brad, equipped with a camera-filled headgear, brandishes a knife, reenacting a disturbing scene. With bleached hair, Chelsea discovers an injured Tina in the adjacent room, attempting to assist her and facing sudden accusations of betrayal. Simultaneously, Brad, suffering a headache, recollects a disturbing memory of the real Sadie mocking him. Snapping back to reality, he finds Heather baking a cake, advances on her in a disturbing turn, and violently slams her head onto the table after her reluctant agreement. Heather, bearing a bruise, visits Chelsea's room, dismissing the need for medical attention for Tina, as Brad wouldn't allow it. Angered by the lack of resistance, Chelsea questions their escape attempts, and Heather warns her of the consequences, despite the dark reality of their captivity becoming apparent. Heather unexpectedly takes Chelsea under her wing, promising outside time through a virtual reality headpiece. Brad allows this illusion of freedom, but abruptly ends it, instructing them to proceed to dinner. Heather discreetly advises Chelsea to save food for Tina, hinting at limited rations. During dinner, Chelsea teeters on punishment for eating without Brad, triggering a tense moment. Brad manipulates her emotions, fabricating a story about her father's early return and congratulating her for surpassing her sister. After dinner, Heather reveals she's been captive for 3 years, now deemed perfect and granted freedom. Brad, plagued by headaches and memories, declares Heather's final performance. In the basement, wearing a VR headpiece, Brad instructs Heather to perform a cheer dance, revealing a knife. Terrified, she attempts to flee, but Brad ruthlessly cuts her arm, revealing his belief that she's his sister. Succumbing to madness, Brad stabs Heather in the stomach and slashes her throat, proclaiming his intent to watch her die repeatedly. A chilling manifestation of his disturbed psyche. In a haunting moment, Brad enters Chelsea's room to find her asleep and struggles with conflicting emotions. Hesitating to touch her, he places his head on her chest, breaking down in tears. Startled awake, Chelsea freezes in fear as Brad lingers, but abruptly hears Sadie's voice in his head, prompting him to leave. Shaken, Chelsea wraps herself in a blanket, trembling in terror. The next day, as Megan communicates through a wall hole, Chelsea discerns the signs of Stockholm Syndrome affecting her friend, with Megan warning Chelsea to stay away from Brad. During breakfast, Chelsea strategically depletes the ketchup supply, intentionally provoking Brad, who retaliates by confiscating her food. Megan's amusement provokes Brad's annoyance, leading to the denial of outside time. In a conversation with Tina, Chelsea learns a grim truth. Brad impregnated Tina, resulting in a desperate escape attempt and subsequent violence. Tina pleads for assistance in an overdose, initially rejected by Chelsea. Tending to Tina's wounds, Chelsea discovers an infection and, in a dark bargain for escape information, reluctantly agrees to help unraveling the horrifying captivity's web of torment and desperation. In the shadows of a haunting day, Chelsea tends to her cleaning duties and discovers a picture of the real Sadie in the living room, snatched away by Brad with a stern warning. Tina alerts Chelsea that Brad is busy mowing the backyard, providing instructions on accessing pills from his nightstand and unlocking doors. Successfully navigating locked doors, Chelsea retrieves pills and Heather's necklace from Brad's room, contemplating seeking help online from his office, frustrated by a password obstacle. She races to erase evidence, but Brad returns. In a tense moment, Chelsea intervenes as Brad attempts Tina's demise, proposing to end her life herself. Embracing the dark opportunity, she suffocates Tina, horrifyingly realizing a disturbing connection with Brad. In his office, he shows her a video of Heather's death, and Brad seeks Chelsea's input on killing Megan, deepening the darkness of their shared reality. In a desperate bid to save Megan, Chelsea resorts to a harrowing strategy. She seduces Brad, feeding his vanity by praising his perfection, and manipulates him into believing they share a deep connection. This ploy successfully diverts Brad's attention, and he takes Chelsea to his room for an intimate encounter. Once their unsettling liaison concludes, Brad escorts Chelsea back to her room, leaving her alone to confront the emotional toll of her actions. In the solitude of the night, Chelsea breaks down, succumbing to tears as she drifts into an uneasy sleep. The following day, Chelsea's attempt to end her life with painkillers proves unsuccessful, leading only to bouts of vomiting. At breakfast, Brad's unnerving gaze fixates on her, catching Megan's notice. Brad casually mentions testing a new VR camera. Megan eagerly volunteers. As Chelsea rises to clean the table, Brad's inappropriate touch draws Megan's ire, sparking a confrontation. Brad intervenes, directing Chelsea to take Megan to her room. Alone with Megan, Chelsea reveals the grim truth about Brad's heinous acts, showing her Tina's lifeless form and disclosing Heather's fate. Despite the evidence, Megan remains blinded by her infatuation, rushing downstairs to inform Brad. Frustrated by the betrayal, Brad locks both Chelsea and Megan in their respective rooms, leaving them at his mercy. During a secret conversation through the hole in the wall, Chelsea urges Megan to collaborate for their survival. However, Megan remains steadfast in her belief in Brad's innocence. In the meantime, Brad heads to the basement to test his cameras, providing a window of opportunity for Chelsea's escape. Seizing the chance, Chelsea flees through Tina's room, liberating Megan, and together they sneak into Brad's office. Chelsea exposes the disturbing footage of Heather's death, evoking a visceral reaction from Megan. Unbeknownst to them, Brad returns, catching them in the act. In a swift move, he drags Megan back to her room and ties Chelsea up, hauling her to the basement, where the sinister depths of their captivity darken further. As Chelsea's screams echo through the basement, Megan, torn by guilt and compassion, decides to help. She breaks down the wall separating their rooms and escapes through Tina's room. In the basement, Brad, hurt by Chelsea's deceit, readies himself to kill her, wearing his camera headpiece. Before he can carry out his sinister plan, another headache hits Brad, triggering memories of his dark past. Years ago, he killed their mother in a twisted pursuit of eternal companionship with Sadie. Tragically, Sadie took her own life to escape being with him. In the kitchen, Megan manages to unlock a drawer containing knives and grabs the largest one, determined to save Chelsea. In the basement, Chelsea endures a brutal beating from Brad, following the suggestion she made the night before. Fighting back, she throws a rock at him. Megan enters, attempting to stab Brad, but he easily overpowers her. Brad resumes his attack on Chelsea, but Megan, undeterred, rises and stabs him in the back. Brad collapses weakened, allowing the girls to retaliate and beat him. Seizing the opportunity, they take his keys and head towards the front door. Their escape, however, hits a snag as Brad recovers, grabbing Megan and choking her. Thinking on her feet, Chelsea seizes the camera headgear and smashes Brad's face with it. The girls manage to open the front door and break free into the outside world. Seeking help from passersby, they finally make calls to their families. Months later, Chelsea attends therapy, struggling to open up about the horrors she endured. Brad, on the other hand, resides in an asylum, haunted by a bloody image of Sadie. Meanwhile, elsewhere, two 13-year-old girls agree to meet a stranger online, signaling a disturbing continuation of crimes. The aftermath paints a chilling portrait of survival, trauma, and the unsettling cycle of darkness. A doctor injects himself with an invisibility formula, uses it to take advantage of women. In the top-secret confines of a government-endorsed research facility, a curious rat dashes into a cage, hoping to snag a quick meal and sip of water. Little does it know, this routine venture transforms into a deadly encounter with an unseen assailant. The predator lurking in the shadows only materializes when the rat's blood stains its razor-sharp fangs. Dedicated to reversing invisibility, Dr. Sebastian Kane is momentarily distracted by his captivating neighbor while working on a breakthrough formula in his apartment. Intrigued, he watches her change, but his excitement wanes when she draws the blinds. Pacing in thought, a lightning-like breakthrough hits him. Without delay, Sebastian tests the revelation on his computer, adding an electrifying twist to his journey against time. Following the groundbreaking discovery, Sebastian contacts colleague Linda McKay to share the news. During their video call, he spots a mysterious figure in Linda's room, inquiring about the identity. Linda deflects, claiming her love life is beyond Sebastian's purview. Armed with the formula, Sebastian urges Linda to involve colleague Matt Kensington for a live test on the gorilla's able. The call ends, prompting Linda to wake Matt and head to the lab urgently. She suggests going separately to conceal their relationship from Sebastian, but Matt hints at the need to eventually reveal the truth. Linda reassures him that she'll handle that conversation in due time. In the lab, Matt aims to sedate Isabel, but she scratches him, causing chaos as she escapes. During the chase, Sebastian proposes a bet to capture Isabel first. Sebastian successfully tranquilizes her, But the victory is short-lived as Dr. Sarah Kennedy confronts him for injecting the untested formula. Linda emphasizes lab preparedness and tension rises. Sebastian insists on administering the serum, leading to a critical moment when Isabel's vital signs materialize, but she goes into cardiac arrest. Linda uses a defibrillator, and Sebastian directs Matt for an intracardiac injection. At the brink of failure, a glimmer of hope emerges as Isabel's heart spontaneously resumes beating. Isabel's recovery unveils the success of the experiment, prompting a joyous celebration with the research team at a high-end restaurant. Amid the festivities, Sebastian opens up to Linda about rekindling their past connection, only to face a subtle rejection when he attempts a kiss. Post-celebration, Sebastian faces a pivotal meeting with the Pentagon Oversight Committee, confessing that the invisibility reversal attempts were unsuccessful. Despite the setback, he assures the committee of an imminent breakthrough, highlighting the need for more time. Dr. Howard Kramer warns Sebastian of potential repercussions and emphasizes the government's readiness to replace him if tangible results aren't achieved soon. Sebastian discloses to Linda and Matt that he intentionally kept the experiment's success hidden from the military, fearing loss of control over the project. Sebastian proposes a controversial plan, conducting unauthorized human trials for the invisibility reversal, arguing it will accelerate progress and increase their chances of winning the Nobel Prize. Matt urges adherence to rules, causing tension as the team grapples with ethical dilemmas. Sebastian drops a bombshell, revealing clearance for human testing and volunteering as the first subject. Despite apprehension, he emphasizes the logical progression from their successes with invisible apes. On the day of the procedure, Matt offers Sebastian an opportunity to back out, but he remains determined. Injecting himself with the serum, Sebastian undergoes intense pain as his skin vanishes. Carter Abbey, the emergency medical technician, readies the defibrillator, but Sebastian's heart rate mysteriously stabilizes. Unconscious, he becomes invisible over 17 hours. Upon awakening, disoriented, Sebastian verifies his invisibility in a mirror. With Linda and Matt, he walks to the lab, revealing his extraordinary transformation to the astonished research team. Later, Linda informs Sebastian that a team member will be on standby to assist him with anything he may need during this unprecedented journey into invisibility. As the team prepares for the critical 30-minute window, Linda lays out the plan. Everyone needs to be back in the lab within that time frame. Before departing, she informs Sarah that Carter will arrive at 6 in the morning, and she'll be back by 8. In the quiet of the night, invisible Sebastian tests the extent of his newfound abilities on the sleeping Sarah, crossing boundaries with unwarranted advances. When Sarah wakes to find her shirt undone, she questions Sebastian. The next day, she confides in Linda and Matt about her suspicions, but they decide not to confront Sebastian immediately. 3 days later, during the reversal procedure, Sebastian's distress becomes apparent. Breaking free, he briefly becomes visible but collapses unconscious. Matt performs CPR, saving Sebastian from the brink of death. Realizing the risk, Sebastian and Linda collaborate on a latex mask to provide some visibility. As Sebastian's invisibility extends to 10 days, Matt grapples with the challenge of safely reversing the procedure. Frustrations mount in the lab, compounded by Sebastian's confinement and numerous tests. One night, Sebastian seizes the chance to venture outside, playing a mischievous game and reveling in his newfound invisibility, leading to a disturbing encounter when he invades his neighbor's privacy. Concerned about Sebastian's unpredictable actions, Linda sends Matt to the lab while she investigates Sebastian's apartment. Discovering discarded belongings, Linda becomes increasingly alarmed. unaware of Sebastian's actions. She heads back to her apartment, leaving Sebastian to return home and leaving behind a trail of moral ambiguity and ethical consequences. Tension fills the lab as tranquilizer. Guns are distributed to locate Sebastian outside. He returns, downplaying his unauthorized departure, and Linda sternly warns him against repeating it. Concerned about Sebastian's mental state due to prolonged invisibility, Linda confides in Matt. Carter conducts tests, revealing Sebastian's admission of taking advantage of his invisibility. In the following days, Matt shares a breakthrough, but optimism fades when the process breaks down. Sebastian expresses frustration to Linda about feeling imprisoned and highlights the psychological toll of his invisibility. Consumed by jealousy, Sebastian installs a camera in his room to spy on Linda. Discovering her relationship with Matt, Sebastian, driven by envy, interrupts an intimate moment by shattering a window, leaving Linda disturbed and prompting her to contact the lab, where Frank reassures her of Sebastian's presence in bed, unaware of the ruse. Seething with jealousy, Sebastian violently ends the life of the invisible dog in the lab, blaming its barking. Confronted by Sarah, he deflects blame, claiming to be asleep during the incident. As Linda works from home, she's startled by mysterious noises, discovering Sebastian's manipulation through a video loop. Urgently calling the team back to the lab, Linda exposes a web of deception. Unbeknownst to Matt and Linda, Sebastian silently observes the team and discreetly follows them to Dr. Kramer's residence, where they report his erratic behavior, escalating the tension. After Matt and Linda depart, Sebastian ambushes Dr. Kramer by the pool, launching a vicious attack that culminates in drowning him. Dr. Kramer's desperate cries for help go unanswered, and by the time his wife arrives, he is lifeless. The next day, Linda discovers the grim truth that Dr. Kramer drowned in the pool the previous night. Attempts to contact other oversight committee members are thwarted by mysteriously disconnected phone lines. The team's efforts to leave the lab prove futile, as the security system denies elevator access, and their codes within the lab are revoked. Panic sets in as the team mobilizes to search for Sebastian, unaware that Janice, separated from the group while grabbing thermal goggles, falls victim to his brutality. Sebastian, appearing suddenly and violently, seizes Janice by the throat with an IVV, line drowning out her desperate screams amid the screeching animals in their cages. Linda, unable to locate Dr. Kramer, tries to reason with Sebastian through the intercom, learning that he killed Dr. Kramer the previous night to conceal his true nature. The team discovers Janice's lifeless body, and Linda implores Frank to restore their access codes, armed with tranquilizer guns. Matt and Carter hunt Sebastian, who cunningly deflects tranquilizer darts and injures Carter severely, causing massive blood loss. Sebastian, cloaked by the heat from the pipes, eludes Matt's attempts to locate him with thermal goggles. Matt, resorting to a fire extinguisher, gains a temporary advantage in the struggle as a smokescreen reveals Sebastian. However, Sebastian retaliates, knocking Matt down with powerful blows. Linda arrives just in time to intervene, whisking Matt to safety. Amidst the chaos, Sarah rushes to aid Carter, administering a life-saving transfusion. Sebastian, locking her inside the room with malicious intent, is cleverly exposed by Sarah, who uses blood to reveal his footsteps. In a chilling turn, Sebastian incapacitates and ruthlessly kills Sarah, leaving Carter to succumb to his injuries. Unaware of the unfolding horror, Frank awaits Sarah's return. Upon discovering Sarah's lifeless body, Frank is fatally stabbed by Sebastian, whose rampage continues with a metal bar plunged into Matt's lower chest. Locking Linda and Matt inside the fridge, Sebastian prepares to escape after donning his mask. Linda, with quick thinking, patches up Matt's wound using duct tape, and they escape the fridge poised against Sebastian's ruthless rampage. In a desperate attempt to cover up his crimes, Sebastian concocts an explosive device to obliterate the lab. Intent on making his escape, he heads toward the elevator, setting the timer for 5 minutes. Linda intervenes with a flamethrower just in time, preventing Sebastian from reaching the elevator. Setting him ablaze, Linda blocks the elevator doors with a fiery barrier. Sebastian, rendered invisible again, overpowers Linda, but Matt strikes him with a crowbar. In the struggle, Sebastian inadvertently hits a fuse box, electrocuting himself and partially revealing his body. Discovering the explosive, Matt and Linda flee to the elevator. But the device detonates, propelling the elevator upward. As it descends, Sebastian seizes Linda and they plummet onto the elevator, suspended by a thick wire. In the chaos, Sebastian steals one final kiss from Linda, expressing it's for old time's sake. As Linda struggles on the suspended elevator, Sebastian's grasp falters. In a desperate move, she disconnects the supporting wire with her foot, causing Sebastian to fall down the elevator shaft to his demise. Linda and Matt emerge from the burning building to face the aftermath, surrounded by firefighters battling the flames. Perverted boy takes advantage of his adoptive mother in a room that gives him any wish he wants. In the midst of renovating their new home in upstate New York, newlyweds Matt and Kate stumble upon a mysterious room hidden behind wallpaper. After finding a unique key and unlocking the door, they experience strange occurrences, including flickering lights. Matt contacts the power company to address the issue, only to discover a bizarre tangle of ancient cables in the basement. The power company operator reveals the house's dark history. The previous owners, Paul and Madeline Schaefer, were murdered inside, and their killer, John Doe, remains unidentified. Shocked, Matt delves into the past, uncovering a tragic news article, and compelled by artistic instincts, he sketches John Doe's imagined face in the enigmatic room. Having polished off a bottle of liquor, Matt longs for another round to himself. Miraculously, as the lamp flickers, a second bottle materializes before him. Bewildered, he inspects the mysterious bottle, slowly realizing that the room possesses wish-granting powers. Intrigued by the room's magical ability to fulfill desires, Kate witnesses Matt's joy as he reveals treasures, including an authentic Van Gogh painting. Initially skeptical, she tests the enchantment and, to her amazement, becomes an instant millionaire with a mere thought. Despite the newfound wealth, the magical nature of the room unsettles Kate, leading her to exit. Matt, however, sees it as an opportunity for thrilling adventures and convinces her to embrace the power. Immersing themselves in wishful indulgence, the couple enjoys a day extravagance with clothes, champagne, art, and wealth effortlessly materializing. As they revel in their newfound lifestyle, Kate begins to question the mystery behind the room's wish-granting abilities. But Matt dismisses her concerns, encouraging her to enjoy the ride. In the days that follow, their wishes continue to manifest, turning their nights into a lavish celebration within the room, surrounded by drinks and extravagant gifts. The thrill of material indulgence fades for Kate, leaving her with a profound emptiness. Matt's surprise gesture of a crib, suggesting parenthood, inadvertently brings up painful memories of Kate's 2 miscarriages. A heated argument ensues when Kate impulsively wishes for a child within the room, infuriating Matt, who insists they undo the wish. Tensions rise as they enter the room, but both find themselves unable to make the difficult decision to erase the baby. Struggling with the internal conflict, ultimately returns the infant to Kate, unable to fulfill her request. Haunted by the unfolding events, Matt's attention is drawn back to his sketch of John Doe, the suspected murderer with ties to the room. Research leads him to a psychiatric institution where John resides. Posing as a news reporter, Matt confronts an aged John, ready to unravel the mysteries surrounding the house, especially the room. John's sinister revelation about the Schauffer's murder being a necessary precursor to the room's powers leaves Matt unsettled. As he departs the psychiatric institution, John's warning about the peril of unchecked desires echoes in his mind. Testing the limits of the room, Matt is alarmed when money disintegrates outside, and he discovers that taking items beyond its threshold leads to their destruction. Frustrated, he breaks down walls and finds a complex network of interconnected wires, stumbling upon a hidden map that becomes his guide in the quest for understanding. Meanwhile, Kate unknowingly places the baby outside, prompting Matt to intervene without revealing the true danger. The distressing cries of the infant compel Matt to grapple with conflicting emotions about aiding Kate and the child. Despite his inner turmoil, he rushes to their aid, caught in a web of mysteries surrounding the room and the consequences of its granted wishes. Outdoors, a mysterious transformation unfolds as the baby rapidly ages into a young child in a matter of seconds, leaving Matt and Kate stunned by the inexplicable events surrounding the room. The couple is astonished to discover a grown boy before them upon re-entering the house. Matt reveals that the room fulfills desires, but anything taken outside ages and turns to dust. Kate, rejecting the notion that Shane is a mere thing, refuses to accept the restriction on taking him outdoors. Naming him Shane, she becomes deeply attached and homeschools him to shield him from perceived external dangers. Shane's curiosity about the outside world grows, leading to a moment of recklessness when he opens the door, prompting the couple to fortify their home to ensure his safety. Despite their precautions, Shane's desire to be close to Kate intensifies, and he expresses a wish to sleep beside her forever. And the torn between maternal love and the confines of the room, Kate grapples with the unsettling reality that their idyllic life might come at the cost of Shane's unfulfilled longing for the outside world. In the days following Shane's attempt to explore the room's mysteries, tensions escalate in the household. Matt, still unable to accept Shane as his son, practices shooting in frustration, while Kate confronts him about his lack of fatherly behavior, heightening the emotional strain. Unbeknownst to them, Shane discovers a map leading to the basement, revealing the room's intricate power source. The night unfolds with lights flickering as Shane transforms the room into an enchanting outdoor haven. Waking to the unsettling scene, Matt and Kate find Shane happily enjoying his created world. Matt's rage surfaces as he forcefully pulls Shane back inside, sparking a heated argument about whether Shane should be allowed into the room. The tension peaks when John, the mysterious figure connected to the room, unexpectedly calls, revealing the chilling truth that for Shane to age like others outside, it requires the ultimate sacrifice. Kate's life. The revelation hangs heavy, intensifying the emotional turmoil within the household. Over the phone, John reveals his dark history as a child, granted by the room, detailing a traumatic past involving the murder of his father and coercive actions by his mother. He presents Matt with a chilling ultimatum. Either kill Shane to save Kate or kill Kate to save Shane, leaving Matt burdened with an unimaginable decision. The weight of this revelation lingers heavily in the air. Disturbed by the conversation, Kate abruptly leaves, prompting Matt's deep concern. Alone in the house with Shane, Matt's emotional turmoil manifests in erratic actions, including trashing his art studio. As he prepares dinner for Shane, the atmosphere in the dining room becomes increasingly tense. Matt, overwhelmed and annoyed by Shane's questions, loses his temper, revealing to the boy that he isn't a real child and has no parents. In a fit of rage, Matt drags Shane toward the front door, but the frightened boy escapes upstairs. Realizing the impact of his actions, Matt sincerely apologizes in Shane's room, where the night ends with an unexpected moment of connection as they sleep beside each other after a bedtime story. As Kate returns home, still grappling with her emotions, the sight of Matt and Shane lying peacefully together brings her a sense of calm. Later that night, the couple shares an intimate moment unknowingly observed by Shane. Seizing an opportunity when his parents fall asleep, Shane takes the key to the front door. The next day, Matt and Kate discover that Shane went outside after finding the door open. In a shocking turn of events, they find Shane has aged overnight, now appearing as a grown man while retaining the mind of a boy. Shane, now armed, holds his parents at gunpoint. After a tense confrontation, Kate manages to calm him down, but a brawl ensues between Matt and Shane. In the midst of the struggle, Kate loses consciousness after being thrown to the floor. When she wakes, Matt informs her that Shane accidentally died from a gunshot. Devastated, Kate breaks into tears outside, unable to cope with Shane's sudden death. Matt comforts her and carries her back into the house, regaining consciousness in the aftermath of the fight. The real Matt frantically searches for his wife throughout the house. His panic intensifies as he notices flickering lights, leading him to believe that Kate and Shane, who has taken on Matt's form, are inside. Meanwhile, Kate remains oblivious to Shane's true identity, mistaking him for her husband. It's only when Shane exhibits a familiar habit of eating ice that she realizes the truth. Determined to reunite with his wife, Matt channels all his willpower to break through the walls and navigate the intricate web of wires, aiming to reach them inside the room. Breaking into the room, now transformed into a sprawling forest, Matt discovers Shane's manipulation, enlarging the outdoor space and duplicating the house to create a cloned home. Shockingly, Shane, having shapeshifted into Matt, kidnapped Kate for disturbing purposes. With unwavering determination, Matt sprints through the woods, reaching the cloned home just in time. Bursting in, he interrupts Shane, forcing himself on Kate in the bedroom. Startled by Matt's intrusion, Shane readies for another confrontation, enabling Kate to escape. As she flees, she's confronted by the surreal sight of two versions of Matt across the hallway, leaving her in a state of confusion and uncertainty. Caught in an unparalleled dilemma, Kate struggles to distinguish between the two identical figures. When one of them grabs her hand, she instinctively pushes him away, calling out Shane's name. This action snaps Shane back to his real consciousness, causing him to transform into his true appearance. Simultaneously, Matt and Kate find themselves trapped in the room as Shane continuously wishes for their confinement. After numerous attempts to escape, Matt pauses to strategize. Eventually, the couple encounters Shane by the door. In a shocking turn, Shane attacks and fatally stabs Matt. Following the violent act, Shane attempts to comfort Kate, but realizes the harsh truth. They are mere clones and replications of their real selves. In a desperate escape, Matt and Kate dash through the woods towards the room's exit, pursued by the increasingly aggressive Shane. Upon reaching the real home, Shane attacks Matt, and in the struggle, both are pulled outside. Realizing the consequences, Shane tries to retreat, but Kate swiftly shuts the door. As Shane pleads, "Mommy," Kate witnesses the unsettling transformation. Shane rapidly ages into an elderly man, his body deteriorating until he turns into dust, despite the flaws and disturbing events. Kate can't help but shed tears over the remains of someone who, for a significant time, played the role of her son. After a traumatizing day, the couple seeks solace. A month later, in a smaller place, Kate's positive pregnancy test raises unsettling questions about the child's parentage, Matt or Shane. A flickering lamp in their new apartment sparks fear that they might still be connected to the room or facing a building glitch. Blinded by the room's riches, their desires become increasingly careless, leading to the mystery of Kate's unborn child, potentially fathered by Matt or Shane. The film's intrigue extends beyond the wish-granting room to the final enigma: the true identity of the child's father. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to Black's Movie Recaps. Until next time.